August 31st, which makes it my 22nd day on the Colorado Trail. And I'm standing in front of this gorgeous, completely still lake. And 22 days means it's the longest trip I've ever had. I can't remember if I told you that my introduction to wilderness adventures was through a YMCA camp in northern Minnesota, based out of Ely, called Widgewagon. And on my third summer with that camp, we went on a 21-day canoe trip. So this surpasses that trip. So still and beautiful here. And you can see that I've got my down jacket and buff on, just ready to take them off, finally warm enough from last night. So we'll see what happens today. There's this gorgeous little alpine lake, and if I wasn't so, paranoid, I would do much better with my water management. I ended up carrying 3 liters of water up about over 1,000 feet just because I filled up at the last point, and not to rely on this. Okay, so here's the TMI warning. I just peed back there at the Continental Divide, and when I pee up in the Alpine, I try to go on a rock, especially rocks that have sort of a pocket or something that'll hold the pee, because the animals that live up here, pika and marmots and whatever, have a hard time getting enough salt. So I don't know how that fits into leave no trace principles. Maybe I'll have to investigate that and see if that's the wrong thing to do. Anyways, what a place. Walking along this ridge along the Continental Divide. Those birds. Falcons, I think. Playing with the air cranes. Wish you could see that. next hill, to the next hill. Oh, and that must be some stuff associated with Monarch Pass, maybe. Okay, here's a USB warning, and that stands for unsolicited selfie blathering. So if you'd rather not listen to this, I will turn the video around so that you can get a USB, an uninterrupted scenery break. Okay, here we go. So, thinking about me reaching the halfway point of the trail and reaching the Continental Divide high point, I've been thinking a lot about the way we sort of measure our lives and accomplishments and goals. And so while it's really important for hikers to know the distance to something and the elevation of it and the time it'll take, those aren't for me. I'm trying to orient my perspective on what real goals are for this trail. And so the guidebook describes that high point as a distance from Denver and an elevation above sea level, and that it's the Continental Divide. But when you get there, there are pika and there are beautiful scenes and the air is crisp, the sun is intense, but the breeze is cool. And so all these experiences are what I'm trying to make my goals for this trip. So this morning, I sat by a lake that was so quiet and still you could look down to see the sky and clouds. And I had a pika run across the path right in front of me with its bouquet of grasses and flowers that it's storing for the winter. And then I've met a lot of interesting people, including Pete and his dog Penny, who I stopped to ask to take a selfie, and he goes, "Hey, look at my hat." And he also had an Adirondack 46er hat, so we talked about that for a while. And he may know Cheddar from the Vermont Long Trail, so I hope they can connect up maybe. But wait, there's even more. So these experiences of meeting people and witnessing the beauty and power of nature, as I mentioned in another video, feed my soul and rejuvenate me. And I can't put that to words, but I think what it means is that, so Quakers have a concept of everyone has a light within them. And we also when we think about mental health, we talk about the importance of self-care. And so kind of mashing those two together, I feel like having all these adventures and experiences feeds that light within me, and that sort of stores up a bank of energy that I can pass on to people that I encounter who may want some kind of positive energy in their life. So I've thought about that a lot, and I know I can't put it into words, and that's the best I've done so far. But I'll let you know if I come up with something else. Meanwhile, looks like back to a regular trail instead of plugging along on the road. One more thing on this subject. The experiences that feed my light or inner energy don't have to be the starbursts or starry nights or rainbows. They can also be sort of challenges and difficulties. So, willing myself up steep switchbacks at the end of the day, or being on an exposed ridge with clouds darkening and a sudden drop of temperature that might indicate it's going to start raining or thundering. Sitting in the tent when there's lightning and thunder going off, or like this morning, realizing that what I grabbed during the night to wipe off condensation from the tent was not my wiping cloth, but was the pair of socks that I was going to wear today. So they were all soaked this morning. But even those experiences and situations feed my soul.